When I was 23, I climbed this mountain in Alaska called Devil's Thumb alone. It was incredibly dangerous, and I did it because I thought that if I did something that hard and pulled it off, my life was gonna be transformed. And of course, nothing happened. But I get the search for purpose. Sense perceptions can be and often are false and deceptive, however real they may appear to us. Where there is realization outside the senses, it is infallible. It is proved not by extraneous evidence but in the transformed conduct and character of those who have felt the real presence of God within. Who am I? I'm a man, an American, a father, a teacher, but most of all, I am a person who knows how the arts can change lives, because they transformed mine. I was a dancer. The government's war on poverty has transformed poverty from a short-term misfortune into a career choice. All existing things are really one. We regard those that are beautiful and rare as valuable, and those that are ugly as foul and rotten. The foul and rotten may come to be transformed into what is rare and valuable, and the rare and valuable into what is foul and rotten. My worldview, my philosophy, my attitudes, my relationships, my parenting, my marriage, everything has been transformed by my relationship with Christ. Baidu and Google are great companies, but there are a lot of things you can do outside them. Just as electricity and the internet transformed the world, I think the rise of modern AI technology will create a lot of opportunities both for new startups and for incumbent companies to transform. Deep learning will transform every single industry. Healthcare and transportation will be transformed by deep learning. I want to live in an AI-powered society. When anyone goes to see a doctor, I want AI to help that doctor provide higher quality and lower cost medical service. I want every 5-year-old to have a personalized tutor. All wrongdoing arises because of mind. If mind is transformed, can wrongdoing remain? In Israel, a land lacking in natural resources, we learn to appreciate our greatest national advantage, our minds. Through creativity and innovation, we transformed barren deserts into flourishing fields and pioneered new frontiers in science and technology. There has already been the karmic work, that what life has transformed in me, this initiation brought on, of necessity, by trials. An idea is a point of departure and no more. As soon as you elaborate it, it becomes transformed by thought. If the Philippines must remain under the control of Spain, they will necessarily have to be transformed in a political sense, for the course of their history and the needs of their inhabitants so require. We've truly transformed Accenture capabilities to help our clients embrace the new, applying innovation and intelligence at the heart of their organizations. The Lord's authorized servants repeatedly teach that one of the principal purposes of our mortal existence is to be spiritually changed and transformed through the atonement of Jesus Christ. The second coming of Christ will be so revolutionary that it will change every aspect of life on this planet. Disease will be eliminated, death will be abolished, war will be eradicated, nature will be transformed. Thanks to globalization and the technology revolution, the nature of work, the distribution of the rewards from that work, and maybe even the economic cycle itself are being transformed. The other thing is surrounding yourself with people that care for you. These are simple things, but they're powerful, and they've completely transformed who I am and how I perceive myself. When I wished to sing of love, it turned to sorrow, and when I wished to sing of sorrow, it was transformed for me into love. I feel that my father's greatest legacy was the people he inspired to get involved in public service and their communities, to join the Peace Corps, to go into space. And really that generation transformed this country in civil rights, social justice, the economy and everything. India has to be transformed into a developed nation, a prosperous nation and a healthy nation, with a value system. True stability results when presumed order and presumed disorder are balanced. A truly stable system expects the unexpected, is prepared to be disrupted, waits to be transformed. Going into the Navy was the best decision I ever made in my life because it completely transformed that scared boy who didn't have any dreams to someone who started to believe in himself. We're making this analogy that AI is the new electricity. Electricity transformed industries, agriculture, transportation, communication, manufacturing. In the first weeks after Hiroshima, extravagant statements by President Truman and other official spokesmen for the U.S. government transformed the inception of the atomic age into the most mythologized event in American history. It means, people who are in high and responsible positions, if they go against righteousness, righteousness itself will get transformed into a destroyer. I think the greatest of people in society carved niches that represented the unique expression of their combinations of talents. And if everyone had the luxury of expressing the unique combinations of talents in this world, our society would be transformed overnight. A person can only be born in one place. However, he may die several times elsewhere, in the exiles and prisons, and in a homeland transformed by the occupation and oppression into a nightmare. Today, companies have to radically revolutionize themselves every few years just to stay relevant. That's because technology and the internet have transformed the business landscape forever. The fast-paced digital age has accelerated the need for companies to become agile. We are each made for goodness, love and compassion. Our lives are transformed as much as the world is when we live with these truths. But now with the living conditions deteriorating, and with the sure knowledge that we are slated for destruction, we have been transformed into an implacable army of liberation. Remove advertising, disable a person or firm from proclaiming its wares and their merits, and the whole of society and of the economy is transformed. The enemies of advertising are the enemies of freedom. The whole of the hydrogen on the earth might be transformed at once, and the success of the experiment published at large to the universe as a new star. We have one planet in our solar system that's habitable, and that's the Earth, and space travel can transform things back here for the better. First of all, by just having people go to space and look back on this fragile planet we live on. People have come back transformed and have done fantastic things. I think my life has been transformed by the ability to take things that exist in the world and look at them more closely. I think that's what art does at its best. It allows us to slow down. Every Christian must be convinced of his fundamental and vital duty of bearing witness to the truth in which he believes and the grace that has transformed him. Time has been transformed, and we have changed. It has advanced and set us in motion. It has unveiled its face, inspiring us with bewilderment and exhilaration. When one takes action for others, one's own suffering is transformed into the energy that can keep one moving forward. A light of hope illuminating a new tomorrow for oneself and others is kindled. The moment an emotion or fact is transformed into a photograph, it is no longer a fact but an opinion. The first duty of society is to give each of its members the possibility of fulfilling his destiny. When it becomes incapable of performing this duty, it must be transformed. I think any woman can be transformed by a beautiful dress and high heels. The most amazing thing to me about the sea is the tide. A harbor like St. Ives is totally transformed in a very short space of time by the arrival or departure of the sea. The moment you have in your heart this extraordinary thing called love and feel the depth, the delight, the ecstasy of it, you will discover that for you the world is transformed. A just person is one who is conformed and transformed into justice. Transformed people transform people. Where once Lego offered a whimsical form of escapism into the world of the subconscious, encouraging creativity and imagination, it's transformed into a rigid box-ticking discipline where children are encouraged to build by conformity. What I find fascinating about Hanukkah, the Jewish festival of lights we celebrate at this time of the year, is the way its story was transformed by time. In an instant, the law was transformed, from the last passenger on the safe haven bandwagon to a pioneer into uncharted territory. For the first time in American history, it was not only legal to relinquish a baby. In Nebraska, it was okay to abandon any child of any age for any reason at any time, with the full protection of the law. In peace, the Middle East, the ancient cradle of civilization, will become invigorated and transformed. Throughout its lands there will be freedom of movement of people, of ideas, of goods. Amazon and Snap both have stories that are compelling for many investors. Amazon has transformed retailing and is destined to dominate it. Snap is reinventing communication, at least for millennials and those even younger. Visit our website for more quotes, quoting.com.